Hey, and welcome to the Coming Strength and Fitness Fitcast. I'm Jill, coach and owner of CSNF, and I'm here along with my team to take your fitness experience to a new level. In each episode, we'll bring you helpful conversations with our coaches, members, and guests to provide additional value to your gym experience and understanding to our mission at CSNF to change lives through fitness. Hope you enjoy the episode. Let's name this episode Hangin' Tough Through the Holidays. Hangin' Tough.
Jill, I've never even heard that before.
That's because you're 12. That's the New Kids on the Block song, and we're going to watch the YouTube video after this episode.
I was like, hanging tough? What does that even mean?
There's a great dance that goes along with it.
So it's an actual song?
Hangin' Tough, New Kids on the Block.
Sorry, people. I apologize for this very bad confession that I have never even heard of. What's it called? Hanging Tough on the Block?
Yeah.
What'd you call it?
Hangin' Tough. No, the song is Hang Tough.
Hang Tough.
Hangin' Tough.
Hangin' Tough.
And the group was the boy band New Kids on the Block.
Okay, I've heard of New Kids on the Block.
So Hangin' Tough was one of their top hits.
Okay, so you're saying it's hanging tough through the holidays.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, Coming Strength and Fitness, there you go. I've never heard of that song, but we're going to go with it. I hope you're doing well. We're back at it. Jill, I asked this morning, what primary emotion are you feeling today?
Excitement, because I love Christmas time.
Excitement. Jill's in the studio. It is just her and me having a conversation about hanging tough through the holidays, staying on track, realizing that the holidays can be a disruptive time, but it doesn't have to be when it comes to your health and fitness.
True.
So we're just going to talk about the things that we've done, things that helped us, the things that might help you just kind of stay on track through Christmas and the New Year's. So, Jill, you're excited. Why are you excited?
I just like everything about Christmas. I like the music, the Christmas lights, like getting to see my family, having parties. I love to give gifts.
You guys are good gift givers.
And it's also about Jesus. All of it. Okay, I need to back up. Jesus.
There you go. The reason for the season.
Yeah, and all the other things too. But I really love the Christmas season.
Well,
yeah.
You guys actually just hosted all the coaches at your house last night for a coaches Christmas party, and it was truly special. Jill, do you want to share what was on the menu for both dinner and dessert last night?
We had a very unique meal last night with all of our coaches. So we had the turducken.
Wait. What did you say?
The turducken.
Turducken. For most of the people saying, what the heck did she just say?
Well, let me enlighten you,
what is a
because
turducken?
Everyone needs a turducken in their life.
Turducken.
It's a turkey with a chicken inside and a duck inside of the chicken. So it's basically 3 meats, and then there's a sausage stuffing in between each meat. Turducken. It's 3 birds in one. It
is the trinity of the meats.
Yes. It was amazing. Did you like it?
Yes, it was great.
Very good.
It was really, really good. I don't want this to sound bad, but I was pleasantly surprised on how well it actually tasted.
It's very good.
It was very tasty.
Very good.
And then for dessert,
we had the pie cakin.
The black sheep or the step cousin or the brother of the turducken for dessert was the pie cakin.
And it was phenomenal. So Hunter ordered me one for Christmas last year as one of my gifts, which if you give me food for Christmas, that's my love language.
There you go.
And it was a layer of pecan pie on the bottom and then pumpkin pie in the middle and then spice cake on the top with apple pie filling on the top and a buttercream icing in between. So very yummy. We basically just had a smash up of a dinner.
Yes. So, Jill, to be honest, we initially had dinner, and I was like, wow, this turducken's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
And then I had the pie cakin, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Mind blown.
This is one of the best desserts I've ever had. And you would think, okay, all this artificial stuff, just slapping stuff together, it can't be that good. It was phenomenal.
So good.
And it wasn't just me. Everyone thought it was good.
It was gone, and that was a big cake.
It was a massive cake. So if it gives you any, if it makes you feel better, us coaches for a health and fitness facility, we did have cake at our party.
3 cakes in one.
3 cakes in one. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
Just staying on track to realizing that there's more to life than not eating a slice of cake. There's more to life than when we may not make it to the gym during the holidays. That's okay. But there's also things that we need to do to stay on track. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jill, let's just kind of kick it off. overall, let's just take broad strokes, and then we'll kind of get more granular as we go through. So this is December. It is December 6th. We have, let's just say, 4 more weeks of this holiday season. What are just some important things to remember and focus on when it comes to staying on track through the holidays?
I think the first thing that I'd like to say is, keep it in perspective. The holidays are a small blip of the whole year. So if you've been putting in consistent work for the last 11 months of 2021, you can't undo all of that good work in a month. The other side to that coin is you're not going to be celebrating every single day of the month. We're talking about maybe once a week, maybe a party here, a company party, a friend's party. You're not going to be celebrating and eating, massive amounts of junk food and beverages every single night of the holiday season. We're looking at 4, maybe 5 days of celebrating total. So just keep it in perspective. You can't undo very consistent work in 5 days over the course of a year. That's
a great point. That it's not like, these 30 days, I'm going to take the whole month off. No. True celebration. I mean, it's December 6th. I consider the holidays kind of Thanksgiving until New Year's. There's like 3 big holidays mushed into this 6-week time frame. So for over 6 weeks, the first 2.5 weeks now, I've only celebrated for 2 days. And I probably only have, we have some family ones. We only have like 4 or 5 true celebration days that there's going to be treats and desserts and staying up late, stuff like that. That you're exactly right. Even when you look at the 6 weeks, the 6 days out of the 6 weeks is what, like maybe a 10% out of, it's very minimal. So I think that's great perspective. The thing that kind of comes to my mind is that, again, this is just more of my personal perspective looking at health, is that health is so much more than the foods that you eat or don't eat during the holidays. That there is, yes, a physical side, and we want to stay physically healthy, like still maximizing our sleep and still getting the nutrients in before a party and drinking plenty of water. But there's also a relational side to health, and there's also an emotional side to health, which we were kind of talking about before this. Is we were chatting about this conversation, just notes and what we wanted to go over, and you just made the note, grandma's cookies. And I was like, Jill, what do you mean by grandma's cookies? Tell us what you meant by grandma's cookies.
That was in my show notes.
Yes.
Yeah, so grandma's cookies is just an analogy I like to use. I would just say don't be so restrictive during the holidays that you don't eat grandma's cookies. Everybody has a family member that makes a dish that is to die for. And when I say to die for, it's probably made with a lot of butter and sugar and Crisco. I don't know.
Yes.
But don't deny yourself those things. I mean, like you said, a lot of those things are, you're with your family. Grandma brought the cookies. What is she going to say if you say, I don't want it because it doesn't fit into my macros or something like that? So, grandma's cookies analogy is have one of her cookies, have a slice of the cake, enjoy yourself. The part to be very aware of is to partake in it, but don't eat the whole tray of cookies.
Don't indulge.
Right.
Enjoy.
Sometimes it's hard because if grandma's cookies are the ones that I'm thinking of, like more than one is almost necessary.
Right.
But, enjoy it. Don't deny yourself these things throughout the holidays. Again, just go back to the perspective of you can't undo 12 months of hard work in 6 days.
And I think that's what I was kind of getting at as far as health is so relational and emotional. As I think it's heightened during the holiday season that you see your extended family, you're in the presence of a lot of tasty treats that if you were to deny your aunt's or grandma's favorite dish, like they might be offended, it might cause drama. Like, no, just enjoy that and realize that in moderation, it actually might be the most beneficial thing you can do in that in that situation where I firmly believe that we should never fully restrict a certain type of food ever, because when you fully restrict yourself, what happens is you can only go so long with very little margin in your life. When you go 100% fully restriction and you don't give yourself any margin, it is only a matter of time before you binge and break that restriction, because it's not sustainable. You're not going to never eat that stuff, which is why the 80-20 principle of giving yourself grace and margin to enjoy that a little bit, but then making sure the majority of what you're eating is whole, clean, real foods. That the binge restrict cycle, meaning I'm going to totally restrict and then boom, I'm going to overdo it on the holidays, is actually a more detrimental aspect of health, because those violent swings back and forth of telling your body I'm never going to, and then all of a sudden you fully indulge, that is what you want to avoid.
Consistency.
Exactly. Just being consistent through those choices rather than no, boom, fully binge, and you were basically plunged off the deep end into a diabetes
and
coma.
probably end up eating more on the binge than you would have if you had a cookie here, a slice of cake there, or, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, oh, hey, we're in the middle of a podcast and Siri's over here talking to us. I don't know what I said, but Siri's over here. Where the last thing I'll say about this, and we'll keep going, Jill, is that the binge restrict cycle isn't just a dynamic with food. It also kind of comes to our mindset as well. And that's what I would, especially if people are actively in CSNF right now or actively working out, that I've had some conversations that people say, oh, hey, I'm going to take 2 or 3 weeks off and I'm going to start January 1. That, like you said, consistency, I think that's the magic word. But the reason that can be very detrimental is that is kind of the same principle as the binge restrict cycle. You've been so consistent for 11 months, then you stop, meaning you almost restrict, and then boom, starting January 1, where that kind of starting over mentality is actually a lot more detrimental to just being consistent throughout, because you almost treat it as a savior. Oh, there's always Monday. There's always January 1.
January 1.
Rather, because you're almost putting off what you can do today, tomorrow, rather than asking yourself, hey, how can I get 1% better today? And we know those small habits build. Those small habits will compound rather than putting it off tomorrow. That the mindset is almost okay, I'm not going to, then boom, January 1, I'm going to go all in. Well, odds are, come February 1, you're probably not going to sustain that because
off the wagon.
You've bought all the gear, you've got the things, you started your gym membership, you went all in, where rather than, okay, how can I start today doing small, consistent things, then come January 1, it's not actually looking much different than December 31st because you've been building on those habits ever since. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yep.
So
consistency.
Okay, so Jill, second thing we're going to talk about are through the holidays, what are some simple tips and tricks?
Yeah,
some
tips
advice,
and tricks, hacks.
Yeah, little hacks
Things we've learned over the last decade of how to not undo everything over the holiday season.
What are yours, Jill?
So first thing is, a plan is always a good way to start things. So let's say you're going to a Christmas party. They're serving pizza and beer. Perfect. Go eat the pizza and beer. Maybe before you leave, you have some protein. Maybe you have a chicken breast or some tuna or a Greek yogurt or something. Protein does a lot of things. It helps with your muscle recovery and muscle growth, but it also keeps you feeling full. So going to parties on an empty stomach, just like going to the grocery store on an empty stomach, usually not a good idea. So number 1, prepare and have a protein-enriched snack before you go. A lot of times people will ask you to bring a dish. That's my favorite kind of party. Bring the healthy one. Bring the veggie tray. I'm going to say it wrong because I say it wrong. The charcuterie board, which I just tried my hand at those recently. And man, it's amazing. You can put all the healthy things on there.
Joe, your charcuterie board last night was great.
It looked like a Christmas tree, and I'll agree. It was very delicious.
It was great.
It was good. So, yeah, if you're taking food, take something that's healthy that you know that you will want to dig into. For us, we usually take some kind of vegetable-filled side. And we know that there'll be some sort of main dish, and then we'll definitely have our side if there's nothing else that looks appetizing on the menu. So that's one thing, is have a plan. Another thing is movement. Don't stop moving through the holidays. I just don't feel good when I stop moving, and I know a lot of people feel the same way. Continue to move. It doesn't mean you have to come to the gym, and it doesn't mean that you have to work out for 3 hours a day. It just means continue to move. So one thing that I personally like to do that is pretty attainable on a daily basis is try to get 10,000 steps in. Most of us have some kind of Fitbit, Apple Watch tracker that we can use to track our steps, and 10,000 or more steps is amazing if you can do that. If you're at the end of the day and you're at 6,000 steps, it's a family walk. Or let's go look at the Christmas lights in the neighborhood. Put on your jacket. Let's go. Let's go take the dog out or whatever. But trying to stay moving through the holidays, doesn't necessarily mean making a trip to the gym. It just means keep your body moving.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole time.
Yeah. I love both of those. The quote that came to my head was, what is it? If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of truth to that.
That's true. Yeah.
I think just the very simple thing that I try to focus on is just my water intake, especially at these long parties with family or whatnot. That, don't get me wrong, I'm going to be the first one to have a slice of that pie cake because it's going to be good, because I only have it once a year. But I'm also going to either carry my water bottle, or rather than drinking anything else, I'm going to be sipping on water, not just for water intake, which is really, really healthy, but also to kind of keep that full sensation, sipping on water throughout, which is another hack that I try to prioritize just my water intake.
Absolutely.
For recovery, sleep, hormone regulation. I mean, lubricating your joints. There's so many benefits that water has, but brain health, mental health, all that stuff. Jill, so we've already kind of talked about this. I think the word that you said is really probably the main thesis of this episode is consistency. But the next question we have is, like, how do we intentionally maintain the habits that we've already had in place rather than just letting them go or put on the back burner on January 1? What are some of the things to think about and things to do to maintain those habits that we've already established for the first 11 months?
I mean, I think first off, it's keeping in mind why we do what we do. Why are you exercising and eating healthy to begin with? Is it so that you have long-term health benefits? Is it so that you can play with the kids, pick them up, go down the water slide with them? You don't want to neglect all of those things for a month and a half.
Right.
So there are ways to continue to eat well, high-quality foods, enjoy the Christmas season, and stay moving if you have a plan and you keep your goals in perspective. Like I said, you can't undo a year's worth of work in 6 days. But if you were to go out and eat an absorbent amount of food and not move and sit on your couch for 6 weeks, you're going to have some negative, physical problems from doing that. And I say problems, but some side effects from that. And it's going to not feel good to come back. So I would just say keeping your goals in mind. You don't want to go back to your fitness regimen, whatever that might be, in January and feel like a garbage can. For sure.
Sure. The thing that I thought of as well, that I don't actually practically do it in a journal, but I kind of mentally do this as well, is I guess the best analogy would be like maybe retirement of like, okay, if I want to save X amount of dollars for retirement, you're almost going to like reverse engineer what do you need to do now to get there, as far as I need to save like this amount of money for the next 30 years and blah, 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 where I kind of reverse engineer the holidays. Like, okay, come January 1, what is my win? Like if I did X amount of workouts, or if I slept this amount of hours, or I did this at a Christmas party, whatever that is, almost reverse engineering. Like, okay, I either said yes to these opportunities and said no to other ones. I didn't eat this at a party, whatever that is, but almost reverse engineering what your win is at the end of the year, and then asking yourself what you need to do to get there by the end. Sometimes I kind of think of that as far as, okay, like I need to work out at least 4 to 5 times a week, because I know if I go more than twice a week without working out, I start to feel it. So even the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, day after Christmas, I know that if I've gone longer than 2 days, I need to start moving more. So I almost kind of reverse engineer that. Okay, if I know that Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are going to be pretty jam-packed with stuff, I know I need to work out and move the couple days up to that, so that I can feel better for those 2 days and then hop right back on come December 26th, if that makes sense.
I'm a huge fan of reverse engineering your goals. Huge. There's no better way to do it.
Is there any more that you want to say in reverse engineering, or no?
No.
Okay.
Other than I'm a huge fan and everyone should do it.
Jill, what just general encouragement would you give people just over the holidays?
Yeah, don't stress about the holidays.
Yeah.
Enjoy them. Enjoy your family. Again, this is once a year. And keep moving, eat quality foods, go veggie heavy, drink your water. Don't worry about it. It's going to be great. Enjoy the season.
Yes.
Keep it in perspective.
Keep it in perspective. Realize what's most important. That I know that some social gatherings can cause people a lot of stress and anxiety, whether it's the community aspect of it, maybe it's the food aspect of it, it's the poor relationship with food, that you have to give yourself grace in this season, that if you are expecting perfection for the next 30 days, you're only going to disappoint yourself, right? And disappointment truly comes from unmet expectations. You don't get disappointed on something you didn't expect. That's the point of disappointment, that if you realize, okay, I'm going to do my absolute best, that doesn't give me freedom to eat whatever I want. I'm still going to emphasize and prioritize what's most important when it comes to my health, but also giving yourself grace and margin with that. It's a tension to manage. You're never going to fully solve the problem of, oh yeah, I'm never going to eat anything, or I'm always going to. You're managing that tension of how can I still emphasize my health while giving myself grace when I don't meet that expectation that I set on myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the dance that you live your entire life. But just giving yourself that grace and margin is so, so important.
Yep, that's it. Keep it in perspective. Stay consistent. If you know you're having a party that night, try to have really high quality, protein dense vegetable meals leading up to the party. Drink your water, get your rest. You know, nothing really changes.
Exactly.
All you've got is a few extra little get-togethers, and that's really it.
Yeah.
Managing those get-togethers. Yep.
Jill, is there any other last minute things that you have off the top of your head before we kind of go into some Christmas stuff?
We did do a CSNF challenge for the month of December.
Yeah.
So for all 31, it's 31.
31, there you go.
Do you do the knuckle thing where you know the months? How
Yes,
many? Yeah, me too.
I
I
do know
just
that.
taught that to my kids the other day. We're doing the 10,000 steps a day for December to just
Awesome.
hold people accountable
Yep.
to moving throughout the holidays. Moving and grooving, hanging tough.
Really quick, what is that? If someone's like, wait, what challenge 10,000 steps? Like, what is that? And
Yeah.
what
yeah.
is it?
So it started on December 1st, and the challenge was for everyone to get 10,000 steps in a day. If you don't have a smart tracker, that's 1 mile a day. So that can be walking, jogging. It can be inside. It can be outside. Doesn't matter.
Wait, if you walk 1 mile, that's equivalent to 10,000
It's not equivalent, but it's something.
Oh.
So if you don't have a tracker,
Okay.
you know, just get out for a mile.
Gotcha.
And that is in addition to your workout, whatever you're doing for your workout regimen. So it's just getting that mile in either after class, before class, at home. People kind of do it whenever. So it's just getting those extra steps in and getting a little extra movement through the holidays because it's cold. It's getting dark early. You just want to snuggle up and watch Netflix.
Yes.
Let's move a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
When do you get your 10,000 steps in?
It just depends on the day. So a lot of times in the afternoon, I will go because it's a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
I used to go in the mornings a lot, but now it's mostly in the afternoon. I'll take the dog for a walk. I'll just walk around our neighborhood. I love going out like in the early evening when the Christmas lights are coming on in the neighborhood and just walking around looking at those. And you know, coaching is a lot of steps. It's about 1,000 steps a class for me. So
Wow.
yeah, probably for you too. Probably for anybody.
Interesting. Just remember that there's two sides of the same coin: physical activity and exercise. They're not the same thing. I think that's
Correct.
just a personal pet peeve of mine when someone is, I don't know, I'm raking leaves on a Saturday. I'm bringing in groceries from the car, and they're
That's
like,
my workout.
"That's my workout for the day." I'm like, "No, that is not your
Do
workout
you
for
want
the
to
day."
know what was a workout though? Was the CSNF Christmas party. I had a 13.4 activity and strain from our Christmas party.
Why?
The CSNF one here at the gym because I literally danced for
you were
like
dancing
2 hours.
That's different.
That was, I overreached that day and hit the highest strain I've ever had since I got my whoop.
Okay, well, that's an outlier.
It was great.
But that's
dance
hilarious.
at the parties. That's that's the consensus. Is make
There
sure you
you
dance
go.
at the parties.
If there's dancing, go dance.
Yes.
But the principle behind what you were saying as far as the 10,000 steps, in addition to your
In
workouts,
addition,
is
it
that
doesn't replace it.
it's physical activity and exercise. Is that exercise is the planned, intentional, repetitive strength and conditioning program that's going to help improve your fitness, right? That's what we do here. You don't go randomly exercise while you're going to the grocery store or whatever, but you can be physically active, whether you're running cross-country practice with your son or taking 10,000 steps or coaching.
Parking further away in the parking lot
Yes,
and walking further.
Where
Yeah.
we live such sedentary lives that we need to be intentional about being physically active, whether that's using the steps instead of the elevators, using a stand-up desk, whatever that is, in addition to exercise. They're not one and the same, but that they are both equally important,
and
which is
when
kind of
we're-
what you're getting at.
Yeah, when we're doing a challenge like this, I am very aware of that. So I will
Yes.
take the steps and I will park further in the parking lot and I'll just make sure that I'm moving more. Even if I'm sitting at my computer, I'll get up every hour and walk around and move around or stand a little bit. So.
Yep. Jill, you are a wealth of knowledge. I appreciate us
that.
letting us tap into your brain.
I feel
and
like the
just-
most beneficial part of this was, just kind of telling everyone about the turducken and the piecaken
Yes, yes.
and that it needs to be a part of your traditions.
I am already getting hundreds of emails from their company saying thank you for referring the turducken and piecaken on this
Yes.
episode because everyone is going after it now.
Yes,
You can't even
yes.
find it online.
Yep.
Jill, really quick, Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
What are your family Christmas traditions? What do you guys do?
Okay, so our family's all here, and we try to see everybody within the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day timeframe.
Wow.
So it's a busy Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We'll see all of my side of the family and Hunter's side of the family on Christmas Eve. when our kids were young, we decided we want to have Christmas morning in our home so they could open their gifts at home. So we have Christmas morning, and then we get with friends on Christmas evening for like a friend's dinner for Christmas night.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
What was one memorable Christmas gift that you got growing up in your childhood?
One memorable, the Barbie dream house, because it was so big I could sit in it and pretend.
No way.
It was so big I could sit in it, the Barbie dream house. And years later, probably when I was an adult, like in college, my dad and mom told me how terrible it was to put that thing together. It took my dad like 3 hours to put the Barbie dream house together.
But it was worth it.
It was because I sat in it mostly. Yeah.
You sat in it? How old were you when you did that?
I was little. I would say like 4 or 5 probably.
Oh,
4 or
and
5.
you still remember it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What is your go-to like Christmas treat or like favorite little yummy that you eat around the Christmas time?
I will do a Rice Krispie treat any holiday.
Rice Krispie treat.
Yeah, because you can put any color sprinkles on them and make them festive for whatever holiday it is.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's my go-to.
Jill, thank you so much. This has been a conversation to, what is it? Staying hanging tough. What is the thing?
Lordy, it is hanging tough.
Hanging tough.
Through the holidays.
By New Kids on the Block.
There you go.
AKA Jill Thornton.
That was my very first concert too.
There you go. Fun facts with
Yes.
Jill. Well, we will see you on another episode in the future. If you haven't actually subscribed to this, to our podcast, whether on Apple or Spotify, that will greatly help. Or if you could just share this with a friend that you think needs to stay on track or want some tips and tricks to do that. Remember, give yourself grace, stay consistent. The next month is not going to outdo what you've done over the past 11, and just be intentional with what you're doing, and you got this because you are a legend. Right, Jill?
I love that. That's great. Let's end every episode with "You are a legend."
You are a legend. Well, guys, we will see another episode, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, friends. We hope you enjoyed this conversation and gained a greater understanding of the mission and vision of the CSNF community. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram under Coming Strength and Fitness, or hit us up on comingstrengthandfitness.com. See you next time.